Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Lupe and today it's not about makeup. Today I'm going to be telling stories, but not any stories. I'm going to be telling scary stories. Because in case you don't know, I'm a sucker for scary things. I watch both Conjuring movies on my own. I know, I'm so great. Thank you. And I even have a Halloween playlist in which you are listening to the basics of Halloween. You're bopping to Toxic by Britney Spears, and all of a sudden you're hearing the Crooked Man's rhyme from The Conjuring. And I also added some footsteps and things like that. In case you are too concentrated on what you're listening to, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps, and it makes you believe that those are real. The point is, I'm a sucker for scary things, and I've been watching non-stop GLAM&GORE's Halloween series. She first did her makeup at haunted places, and the second year she went ghost hunting, and I love those videos. So I felt inspired to do something like that, but as we all know, once more, we can't leave the house, so I can't go to a haunted place. So I'm just here chilling at my house next to the non-existent fireplace, and yeah, let's read some scary stories, shall we? The first story I'm going to tell is one that happened to my sister. So last year she went on a trip to Dublin, Ireland, and she stayed at a hostel. She shared room with two other girls who were from Belgium. They slept in 3 liters. My sister slept at the first one next to the door, and the Belgian girls slept at the ones on the other side of the room. Around my sister's last night, 2 girls checked in and they slept in the liters in the middle. So that means no one slept in the bed above my sister's bed. So the next morning, these 2 new girls started getting ready, and they were very messy and loud. So my sister was wearing an eye mask, and she feels and hears footsteps on the upper bed. And so she's like, oh well, that's just one of the other girls who are getting ready. But then she feels someone crawls down from the bed and right away cuddles up next to her in her bed. And so she takes off her eye mask to yell at her because what the fuck, why are you cuddling up with me? I don't even know you. And guess what? There was no one there. One of the girls was at the bathroom and the other girl was at the hallway, and the 2 other girls were sleeping on all the other way of the bedroom. And let me tell you something else. Remember she heard footsteps upstairs or on the upper bed? Well, they were in the last floor, so there's no way she could have heard noises upstairs. I don't know, it's like Ireland's folklore. It's just that there are so many ghosts everywhere. Everything is haunted and there's poltergeists and everything. So I have another story that a friend told me that happened to him. His name is Leandro. This is his Instagram. Go check him out. So the story goes, one night around 9 p.m. I was very tired, so I went to sleep. When I woke up, I couldn't feel my arms and legs, and I saw someone standing at my door. He looked like a man, but like 2 meters tall. He was all black and he was facing the other way, like he was backwards. All I could do was let a little noise come out of my mouth, and this silhouette turns around, looks at me, and begins walking towards me. This is so like that scene from Hill House. Oh, that's so chilling. That scene is probably one of the best scenes in Hill House. When he was only a few centimeters away from me, I got to clap and I woke up. It was all a dream. So I get up and run to my kitchen, where I find my mom cooking and my dad reading the newspaper. I ask them if they heard anything. They say no, and then I tell them my dream. Turns out my dad had dreamt the same thing. Suddenly, I wake up again. It was a dream inside another dream. But to my surprise, I went to the kitchen and I found my parents doing the exact same thing they were doing in my dreams. We had the same conversation, except this time my dad just says, "What a weird dream." That is so weird. It's like sleep paralysis, but at the same time, it's the fact that he just found their parents doing the exact same thing they were doing. That's just crazy stuff. Comment down below if you ever had sleep paralysis. Before we continue to read stories from the internet, let me tell you something, and that the whole point of this video was to read scary stories in the dark. You know, scary stories to tell in the dark. But I got so scared. I am a sucker for scary things, but I'm not stupid. I tried. I was really motivated to do this. You can ask my sister. I was so excited to film this.
Hi.
She's with me because I couldn't do this alone either. Not even with the lights on. Now we're just two little chickens. I'm already tearing up. Can someone please explain to me why you start tearing up every time you talk about scary things? I found a page today that also showed pictures, but now I'm not even going to try to read them and show you. I'll leave you the link down below if you want to check them out. I'm sorry this is a disappointment already, but there's no way I'm facing that. Okay, so here's one I have the guts to read. My neighbor Diane and I had a playful poltergeist for years, as we called it Billy. I had come home and find something put in a weird place. Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps. When I had enough, I'd point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her and she'd say thanks a lot because he'd gone and pulled shenanigans at her place. I love that word, shenanigans. So fun. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. I still can't explain any of it. I read this one during the day, but I don't want to read it now again. You might think, if you already read it, then why don't you read it again? I mean, you've already been through it. But I don't know if you can tell, I'm already tearing up. No. This is terrible too. No. The unseen patient story. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff. That is, until I had my own experience with READ 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. Well, if you're working at 3 a.m., honey, what do you expect? I mean, that it's common sense, that it's just the basics of life, people. It's 1:43 a.m. here, so let's hurry up. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice and I thought the partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my god, am I dying?" Followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight and looked back into the patient compartment when it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple seconds. Then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss as if it was leaking. I turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors. No one was there. I checked the oxygen bottles, neither was opened. We didn't sleep much after that. Okay, so I'm sorry. I know this video is an epic fail, but I'm just really frightened right now. I mean, luckily we didn't hear any noises. I thought we would be hearing all kinds of crap because that's when your brain starts pulling shenanigans on you. See what I did there? But I don't want to continue doing this. Right now, I'm feeling the Mikey at Jerome, Arizona vibes. I'm not comfortable doing this. I couldn't even read any stories I had planned out. I'm sorry, I tried. I really tried. I'm just going to bed. I'm sorry. Please give this video a thumbs up because I tried, okay? I tried. I really tried. And subscribe for more content. Promise not all of my videos are an epic fail such as this one. Hi, I'm back and I got backup. So it's a new day and now that I have backup, hope I can actually read some stories to you because you signed up for scary stories and I'm gonna give you what you want. And even if you don't want them, you're here already. So, and by the way, this is my sister. I told you her story the other day. So now let's move on to the stories I didn't read the other day. I leave all the links down below in the description of every page I read these stories from. And this one says, I was at a slumber party in 8th grade with a few of my friends when we decided, stupidly, to have a scenes in her unfinished basement. Number 1, why the fuck would you go to a basement? No. Number 0, why the fuck would you have a basement? That's just the recipe for disaster. Don't you people watch horror movies? We were having fun as we were trying to figure out who to summon when someone suggested Jack the Ripper, a serial killer from the late 1800s. And I immediately got a pit in my stomach. No, I spoke up. We shouldn't summon something evil.
That's right.
Called a man's voice from the other side of the cellar. I'm already tearing up. There were no boys or men. We were home alone. Another girl and myself heard it. I'll never be the same. Wow, Abby, what the fuck? We heard a noise, a constant noise, and then we just realized it was my dog drinking some water. Damn. But right now, anything could scare me. I'm so paranoid. Okay, I have a good one. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a man and his family. One night, one of his daughters went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She'd passed away from an aneurysm. After the funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad went with my uncle. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. Well, at least she wasn't at the basement. Yeah. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing and she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs and grab them tightly.
That's when you run.
She dashed to the basement door. She did.
Okay.
Called my uncle and father and waited for them. When they all walked outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what had happened and he turned white. He told her that daughter who died used to play a game with her father. When he'd play the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles and push his feet up and down on the pedals. Okay guys, and those are the stories I have for you today. I hope you liked it, and please give this video a thumbs up because I came back, I finished what I started, and that's respectable right there. That is not disrespectful.
To you.
That is not disrespectful.
To you.
And scene. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe for more content and hit that notification bell so that you know every time I upload a video, which is every Friday. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!